All right. Silicone initiators. Now, been doing them in, powder coated hollow points. It cleans off real easy. I mean, you just rub it off, whatever's a mess is. But the actuator itself is pretty easily plucked out because, it's a really smooth surface after you powder coat it. Maybe roughing up the inside would help. Uh, but yeah, it's not ideal, but hey, it works. These I just poured it, injected in. I got to trim them off. Like I said, I cleaned it off just doing that. But take a razor blade and I'll square it off. Like these. And there we go. Okay. That's pretty nice. But I got to thinking, I wonder how well the silicone sticks to just naked lead. I never tried that. Other people have. Seems to work for them, but I never thought to ask, how well does that stick? Is it easily plucked out, or does it really grip in there? So I decided try a little experiment. And what prompted this was I started thinking silicone baking mats are good for really high temperature. We bake these about 400 degrees. Probably see where I'm going with this. So, got a wild hair up my butt. Decided to look at the instructions on this tube of caulk. Lo and behold, come on, service temp, 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I decided to pull a handful of bullets out of the remelt pile, and I just hand packed these. Took a damp paper towel, ran them over, smoothed them off. And there we go. And yeah, now the question is, I know after baking them, powder coat sticks to silicone. But what about when we're shaking them up, creating static? Will it stick? And either way, if these grip into the bare lead better, I mean, it's still going to be better, because here's what I'm thinking. Run them in the powder coater. If it sticks, it'll create a thin layer over it and lock it in. The initiator cannot be plucked out or fall out or whatever at that point. Better reliability. And if it doesn't, and it still grips better than powder coated, it still grips better than the powder coated, and it will still be a win. As long as it's holds up after baking, which I have high hopes for, since most of the baking sheets they just say 400 degrees, or maybe a little 450 or so. But I'm thinking, why not try it out? The reject bullets, if it fails, back in the reject pile they go. Either way, but still, if this succeeds, then it may change the game a little bit more work cleaning them off and stuff. But they would all be you wouldn't have to trim them, you wouldn't have to clean them, stuff stuck to the outside at that point. It would just be bake them up. Done. At least that's my hopes. Yeah, sometimes my hopes are dashed, hopefully not. But yeah. So I gotta let these cure. I just did 10 of them, just a small sample. See if they survive, powder coat tumbling. If so, throw them in the oven and see. But yeah, even after rub it with a wet towel, you have to see if there's any on the outside. If there's a residue and coat doesn't stick, or if there is, I probably just do that. A little time consuming if you do a big old batch, but either way, like this, clean them off and trimming them down, it still takes a while. So that may be a wash. Have to see. But yeah. After these cure for a day, we'll see what happens. All right, well, for now I'll leave you with that. And I'll be back in a bit. All right, I decided to tumble these in powder by the pound telemagenta, which covers pretty well. I had issues with some of the powder by the pound powders not covering well, but I have found that tumbling longer, I'm getting better results. I went back to the big wheels, which makes it rotate slower, and then I just tumble it for longer. And some of the problem powders are giving me less problems, and some of them are actually coating pretty good. Double these for about 8 minutes or so, 8.5 probably. There's only 10 of them in there, and there's only a couple of them that have any splotches, bare spots, which I probably doctor up with a powdered glove. Most of them look really good, and the silicone coated, which means once this bakes, it will lock that initiator in there and it won't be able to fall out. Like if you powder coat first, it's a slick surface. I kind of went over that, and they'll pull out pretty easy. Sometimes more easier than others. All right, my oven's up to temp, so let me bake these, and we'll see if that silicone handles baking. It says 400 degrees. The oven goes up a little bit higher, but not a whole lot. Hopefully this will be a success, and if it is, I'll make up some good ones, and we'll see how that goes. All right, in a bit. Okay, these are fresh out of the oven. Too hot to handle. Couldn't see in there to see if the silicone was bubbling or anything. Cooking for about 25 minutes. There weren't too many to drop the temperature. Usually what I do is I put in a full batch, set it for 30. That gives it time to come back up to temp, and it's 20 minutes. But yeah, they all seem to be covered anyway. Through the viewfinder, it kind of looks whitish, but that could just be the light. Yeah, so we'll see once they cool off in a bit. Okay, I kind of dug into these to see how well the silicone held up, and it held up well. I'm surprised to see just how much better the silicone bonds to bare lead. I really didn't know. I'd never tried that. Far better than PC, coated bullets. I mean, I can't dig it out of here. I've been trying with a pokey stick, and I can get it to rip, but it won't just pop out. And on top of that, you got a very thin layer of powder coat over the top, so it's not going anywhere. still squishy, you know, like silicone. Don't make the mistake I did. I had some of the latex caulk, and I tried that. It's terrible. It shrinks. It's just no. Make sure you got some silicone. The caulk, it won't shrink. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. If you're gonna put initiators in, silicone initiators in your hollow points and powder coat, do the initiators first. Fill it up, smooth it, wet cloth, whatever, clean it up, let them sit, then powder coat them. And yeah, I mean, these are the ones that dug in. And yeah, they all look all right. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do this with some good bullets and try them out on some jugs when I get some collected. Run a little low on them. They don't last long. It takes me longer to collect them than to blast them. Well, I'm pretty sure that holds true for all of us. All right, well, I'll leave you with that until I can test some out. Have a good one. God bless. See you.